she's gonna leave in September, just for that reason.
So you don't get asked those questions anymore. All right. So we are live on Facebook with Cathleen Merkel, and I was just asking her if she was in fact recorded. I'm looking at record on this computer. Related. Angela Merkel. I'm having a Monday kind of Friday.
Yeah, what's I have that every day at the moment. Every day. No, I'm not related. And I tell you that it's not a first time that I've been asked this question. I can't travel anywhere without a passport control of people giggling at my passport. So no, no, I'm not.
So once again, well, I have a German. She is not in Germany. She is calling in from the UK. And so Kathleen invited me to be on her podcast. And then we did a quick, let's get to know each other. Is this going to be awkward if she interviews me? Interview. And we really hit it off. And then yesterday we recorded her episode. And then I invited her. I'm like, come on my live broadcast, because I've been chatting it up about myself. And now it's your turn to do the same. So here we are. So Kathleen is a mindset and something else coach.
And leadership. Yeah. I help female leaders in particular. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's what that's what her podcast is all about. And she's just a blast to talk to. So I'm very excited to have her on. So tell us just a little bit more about you, where you are, your current situation, and then we're going to get into what your first time story is.
Well, still thinking about what is the one first time story. Well, thanks for the lovely introduction and for having me on your show. As you said, we had so much fun, and you can see right now there's just giggle, there's banter, and I love being stupid and feel stupid from time to time. I'm a leadership and mindset coach, and I do various things as a coach. I actually don't necessarily focus on the title. I focus more on who am I helping and how do I help these people? So I work with female leaders that can be emerging leaders or leaders who are already in the role to redefine success, basically. So my background is to be a female leader in big organizations, and I always define success with high achievements, running in the hamster wheel to achieve and to deliver for the sake of other people, and to seek recognition by others. And I literally had to hit a wall, which I hit a few times in my life, to realize, what the heck am I doing here? Why am I doing this? To realize I can actually live a completely different life that gives me the success in my own definition. And success is not just, or it's not about at all what job title I have and where I sit on the hierarchy. It's about how I live my life, how fulfilled I feel. When I wake up in the morning, do I feel like, yeah, that's going to be an awesome day and I love approaching this day? And am I helping others? And to have time really to do the things I always wanted to try doing, or the things I love doing. And as you said so nicely, live to my full potential and get the most out of my day. I don't want to say at some point when I'm in my 80s or 90s, touch wood, say, what have I done with my life? And that's exactly how I help other people. And I do that in various ways.
All right. Well, awesome. That is a great intro. And it's such rewarding work to do. And I've listened to your podcast and learning more about you. You do it beautifully as well. Okay, so you're now hot. It is time for the first time story. So where are you taking us on this story? What is it about?
You know what? I watched one of your 365 or 365 lives. And I was like, you're always focusing on first time stories that had an impact on your life. And I'm like, I have so many stories that had a massive impact on my life. But I think the biggest story that had a huge impact on my life was the one where I still lived in Germany, actually in East Germany. until 2010. And East Germany, just for those who may not know too many details about it, obviously we were divided as a country, West Germany, East Germany. There was a wall in between. And when you lived on the East German side, you had a very different way of growing up. You were not allowed to travel apart from the Easter or the communist countries, Czech Republic, Hungary, Russia, and so on. Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, we just lost sound for a second. We're good now.
So there were a few things that restricted your way of living and being. And parents always worked, so there was never just one member who stayed at home with the kids. So I grew up in a way of you have to deliver, you have to achieve, you have to work hard, and you have to show to society that you are being successful. Yes. So my whole life up until I was 20 was focused on doing that and living that kind of life. And I lived in a framework of shoulds and musts and need tos and all of these things. And it came to the point that I was in my early leadership stage. So I took over my first team when I was 21. And it came to a point that I kind of my relationship at this point of time broke down. I had at a very early age quite a serious relationship. The job became really horrific. The culture changed around us, and I just didn't feel I fit in. And my boss at this time really surprised me with, oh, by the way, we are going to make you redundant now. And there was no real reason for it. I just felt really played with and played by and played at. And it really hit me hard because I was simply young. I didn't really know what failure was. And what I did first was to literally travel. So I wasn't signed off yet, or I wasn't being made redundant yet. You can't do that in Germany from one day to another. You have to go through a process. And I packed my backpack, and it was the first time that I solo traveled. And I went up to Ireland. I went up to Ireland to do a bit of backpacking, and I ended up on this bus tour through Ireland, me being the only German surrounded by a few Canadians, Kiwis, Australians, and a couple of Americans. So you can imagine this was a very drunken bus, basically. Everyone's hobby was literally to drink Guinness from morning to evening and to enjoy themselves, right? And that was just amazing. And since I was 16, I was dreaming of living in the UK for a while and just enjoy the music scene there. I've always been in love with the UK. And basically on that tour, I met so many free spirits. It was just like the best moment in time. And people kept telling me, Kathy, you are far too young just to give up on life and not to make the changes that you want to make. So just go and do whatever you wanted to do. And then I took a bit of time to travel to other places on my own, like South Africa and so on. And I came back and I literally took the redundancy as an opportunity and gave my flat up and simply left the country and decided to move to.
That's not very normal. That's not at all normal for a German whatsoever, right? Because no, wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to dissect this a little bit because how did your parents take it that you were just going to take off and go travel?
They are still not taking it well that I travel, that I like traveling on my own and that I left the country. I think in the beginning, I thought they resented me for it quite a bit. Now I know they were just really sad and didn't know how to express their emotions. So it was quite a personal challenge for our relationship as well. But I tell you one story, and then you can imagine probably how my parents reacted. So at the age of 16, I said to my mom, hey, after I've finished my A-levels, I want to go to the UK as an au pair for a year. And she literally fell in front of me on the floor, started crying, becoming hysterical and saying, you can't leave me. So there was never, from my mother in particular, focus on what would be good for you. What do you enjoy? It was more about me. And that's exactly how they reacted when I said I go traveling, or when I said I'm going to leave the country in the end as well. My dad was a bit more understanding. He still keeps looking at me and says, I just have no idea how you're doing this. You change jobs, you change countries, you just make changes in your life, and it somehow always works out. And I think a few years ago he said to me, honestly, I love you dearly, but I sometimes wonder as to whether you come from our family, because no one else is just like that.
No, because I mean, your culture, the German culture is not like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Germans are all about taking holidays, and they'll travel on holiday, but the family stays very close knit. You know, you might move to the city if you're from one of the villages, but you're not going very far, and you stay, like I said, very close knit to your family. So for you to just do that, you know, as an American, that's impressive. As a German, that's just really, it's just mind blowing. And it was a different time. I'm not gonna ask you how old you are now, but it was a different time than, you know, someone deciding to do it now. And, you know, my time in Germany and dating Germans and talking with them, the hesitation to break what's expected of them, and, you know, the path that's laid before them, you know, it's becoming more popular, but it's by far not a norm still whatsoever. So, wow, that's definitely speaks
And
mountains about you.
I still work a lot with German teams, and I have a lot of miserable people in front of me, which hurts me, because I truly believe the things you can control, you can change. You can change your life, whatever age you're at, and so on. And the culture that sits in front of me is, we cannot change this, because then we are not secure. We have a mortgage to pay, we have a rent to pay. And I totally, by the way, get that. But you can still make small tweaks. You can still start creating change. And that's really, for me, the motivation to help others. Some are more receptive, some need a bit more time. So I'm accepting the challenge.
So do you have brothers and sisters as well?
I have an older sister who lives still in Germany near Frankfurt with her family, and very settled. So we love each other, but we are like water and fire, completely different. Yeah.
So do your parents come visit you? Do they venture out to come see you?
They do every other year. So they were meant to come over this year. So we've got to see when the travel ban is going to be lifted in the whole Corona situation. But they plan to come over this year again. I'm obviously trying to head over as soon as I can, once a quarter. And if I work in Germany, then I try to combine that. So we see each other fairly frequently. It's a 1.5 hour trip, so it's fine.
So so let's go back a little bit to that trip. You're 21 years old, you're in Ireland, you're on this bus. Now, how long were you on this tour bus with the folks?
We were around for 2 weeks, and then I traveled a bit on my own. So I added a few weeks to that. Yes. 2 weeks were the max we could do from a health perspective. So that was enough.
Well, it sounds like you got some really good input and feedback from the people that were there with you. For sure, Australians, Canadians, and New Zealanders, Kiwis, have that mindset of traveling. I mean, there are definitely 3 countries that take off and enjoy exploring and discovering new places. And Ireland, it's not a surprising place to end up. Now, like for you, so what else out of that trip for you? Like, what other first time did you have with just being in Ireland? Like, did you have other experiences that?
Yeah, 100%. I actually never thought about that, what others I had. So I've always connected with people from other countries. So I've always had a certain base in the UK, for example, of English friends who I met on family holidays, the typical German family holidays in Spain and so on. But I have never been connecting that much with people from across the globe. So that was really wonderful. And I'm still in touch with quite a few from that bus tour. We remain friends, which is just brilliant. And it was for me an eye-opener to simply leave my Germanness to the side and to let my guard down. So one thing I grew up with was to build a guard. So to have this wall around me, and because we behave properly, right? And there are loads of positive sides to being German as well. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to talk ourselves down. And I'm really proud of being a German. But that piece of my personality always got in my way because people couldn't quite just understand who I was and what I was about. And we had just so much fun, and I could just simply be myself, that there was no guard. So it was the first time I properly let it down, and I just was this stupid and playfulness Cathy, and I was brilliant. It was my first time to travel alone, really. That was my proper first time.
Was that scary for you? Was that scary for you at all, or
no?
Were you, yeah.
It was. I felt so excited about it. It was just brilliant, and from the start I felt excited about it. And then, I mean, obviously I read a bit about Ireland and so on, and it's a very safe country. When I traveled for the first time on my own to Indonesia, I was a bit more nervous about it, right? You are further away, you don't quite know what the culture is like and everything, but that was very close by, so I wasn't too caught up about it.
Yeah.
It was my first time to have a lot of Guinness, definitely, and a massive lack of sleep. And it was the first time to visit Northern Ireland, which I haven't done before. So that was brilliant.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Ireland is still on my list. I don't know. Last time I was in Germany, and I somehow still didn't make it there. I will make it. And my guest on Wednesday, April 1st, is an American retired Marine who now lives in Ireland with his entire family. So I miss being in Europe, but everybody from Europe is coming on the show, and
yay!
I don't know if that's making things better or worse.
You will be able to travel again.
Yeah, I really can't wait. Okay, so let's play the first time lightning round. All right, let me pull it up. So the way the first time lightning round works for those who are listening, and for Kathleen, well, we talked about it a little bit. So I'm going to give her some options. If she's done it before, she's going to say up, because she's done it before. It's the same thing as what you would do on the app. And if she's never done it, she's not interested in doing it, she will say left. And then if she's never done it, she wants to do it, she will say right.
All
okay.
Right. I hope I keep that in mind and remember what you just said. Okay.
We'll work with it. Okay. Go line dancing.
I think I've done it. Up. I think I've done it on my first travel to Michigan, which was in 2000 or 2001.
So you ended up in a country bar doing it, or was it a different situation?
So it's a long time ago, and it was at this point of time I did an apprenticeship, and as a part of the apprenticeship we got the chance to go up to Michigan on an exchange with a college there, and our professors at this time took us out to crazy bars, country bars, all the time. And there is a theme here. Alcohol is always involved. So I got healthier over the years, believe me. So obviously that was the case there as well. And I remember that we went to a bar that had line dancing on, and we simply joined in.
Just jumped in there. Wow,
that was after the karaoke session.
Yeah. Oh, was that your first time doing karaoke then?
In America, yes.
In America. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Take a glass blowing class.
Left.
Really? Not interested in doing it?
No, not really.
Really? It's really a lot of fun.
You have done it, right?
Yeah. And I'm definitely going back. So like, because we talked about this yesterday in the show, like I did the torch, but I want to do like the full blown glass blowing experience. One, because it just fascinates me, the fact that you can shape glass and you can make things out of it. I mean, it's just I don't know. I'm easily amazed, but if you actually see it happening, it's pretty neat. Okay. I am sure this is going to be up for you. Go to a music festival.
Oh, definitely up.
Okay. Go dog sledding.
What is that?
So dog sledding is you'll see in Norway, for example. So
Ah,
you're
oh, definitely right.
definitely right.
Yeah, I want to go to Greenland and do that.
Oh, well, we should plan a trip together.
Yes, up for it.
Okay. Do an escape room.
Oh, right. It's on
Right.
yes, on my list.
My first escape room, well, my first and only so far was in Stuttgart, and it was it was a badly translated escape room.
Why?
Well, because obviously, I mean, we're in Germany, but we're doing the English version, and some of it was, I mean, it was a tough one to begin with. But I guess I shouldn't blame the translation. We did not make it out, and they kept giving us extra time, and I was at the point like, we're gonna truly die in here. Like it's not happening. We're not out.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. All right. Pierce eyebrows.
Left.
Left. Okay. Take a Tai Chi class.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, big time.
Ride a horse.
Up.
Up. When did you go? Well, actually, it's quite popular in Germany. What was your first time on a horse?
Yeah. I've done it a few times as a child and teenager. Because we had a horse riding school right around the corner in walking distance, but I never really enjoyed it. I thought, yeah, it was all right. So it's something that's lovely. And now I'm taking my niece from time to time to horse riding, but I've never wanted it to become my main hobby or anything.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's good you're introducing your niece to it. Do a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, up.
Up. And we're going to get into a story about that. So play the guitar.
Up.
Kind of cheated. I know the answer to that
Yes,
one.
yes, you did.
So tell us a little bit more about the guitar playing.
Yeah, that was obviously, as you know, the other story I'm thinking about. So the guitar has always had my intrigue, my interest. I always thought guitar players are really cool. I'm a big fan of the Foo Fighters and Queens of the Stone Age and so on. So music in general that's connected to a guitar. And I always wanted to play it. And I've never done it. I don't know why. And well, after a few years in the UK, I had a year where I said, oh, it's time to connect with people. In London in particular, it's quite hard to make real friends. You meet a lot of people, but building deep networks is tough. And I thought, why don't you learn the guitar and get into a class so that you actually get to know other people as well? And weirdly enough, right, life is just happening as you need it. It's just brilliant. Weirdly enough, I Googled social guitar classes. And a guy at this point of time started something called the Guitar Social, which is now massive in the UK. It's massive. Honestly, he teaches the guitars with group in prisons, in elderly homes. He is on the BBC News with it. It's crazy how big it became. Anyway, it was absolutely brilliant because every Sunday we had a guitar class and then we socialized. And I made so many wonderful friends I'm still in touch with nowadays, and we are still good friends. We went on holidays together and traveling together. I did the basic or the starter beginner class and then the intermediate class, met an ex-boyfriend through it. So all sorts of things happened through this class for me. And I learned how not just fantastic it is to play the guitar, but also how meditative it is and how much it can take you out of a messy situation. So currently when you're stuck at home, we are on lockdown here. I keep going back to it now because it's just it takes you out of worries and concerns into a completely different zone and space. And what I missed telling you was, after each class, when you finished it, you graduated and you had to go to a pub as a group and play a gig,
Oh, how neat
which
is
was
that?
first time. That was just so brilliant. I was literally peeing my pants. I was so nervous about it. But it was so much fun. It was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, seeing now how he connects, in particular in those current times, people virtually still, is amazing.
I should have him on the show. What's his name?
You should. You should. I'm going to send you all the details through, but
All
it's
right.
called the Guitar Social.
Guitar Social. How neat
Yeah.
is this? It's awesome that he made you all then go play a gig. That's really
Yes.
constantly, keeping to push you. Now, do you sing then?
Well, I sing, but it's not good. As my fiance says to me, can you stop it now? As soon as I start singing in the car, he's like, can you stop it?
Oh, all
not
right,
great.
man. All right. Well, I'm the same boat. Same here. It's not something that I would do in the privacy of my own home with no cameras on and no one around. If when I do start learning. All
Yeah.
right. So now today's prompt is first time on a plane.
Yeah.
When was your first time on a plane?
My first time on a plane was, I think, when I was 16. Yeah. So, yeah, 16. I went on a holiday with my parents to Mallorca, one of the Balearic Islands, which is a very popular holiday destination for the Germans. But given that until I was 8, we weren't allowed to travel anywhere else, that was exciting to do that 8 years later. So yeah, that was my first time.
Were you scared, worried, or just excited?
I think I was just excited and too focused on my mom being scared like crazy. so it was quite distracting.
Yeah, my first time on a plane, I was 13, and my mom, well, she's originally from Canada, but she was in Florida, and she invited me to come join her in Florida. So I flew for the first time by myself at 13
Oh, wow.
from Massachusetts to Florida. And I remember being a little apprehensive about it, but not particularly scared. I mean, I didn't see what the thing was about being scared about flying. Yeah, so
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right.
I just didn't understand why, and I still don't understand that, by the way, why every time a plane touches down,
People
the
cheer.
whole plane started applauding and cheering. And it still happens from time to time. It's interesting.
Now, I have to say, the one thing that freaked me out about the first time on the plane was, so in Japan was the first time that they had the big screen on as they were landing. So you're watching the landing, you're like, I don't want to see this because if it does go wrong, I don't want to see it. Like I don't want to know what happened. So yeah, watching that, and then everybody definitely applauded, and it was just a really weird thing. I'm like, why are they showing us this? But
Yeah.
the more I flew in Southeast Asia, the more I got to see that. And I guess I got used to it. But the first time I was like, this is just really weird.
Yeah.
So final question is, how are you making the best of the current situation of what's happening with the coronavirus pandemic? How are you making the best out of it?
Actually, I am one of the maybe rare people, I actually don't know, who is not enjoying the situation, i.e., COVID-19, people dying of it and people being sick. That's not the case. But what I am enjoying about the situation is I have a real sense of calm and routine. So as you know, you have traveled a lot, you have lived in other countries a lot. My work entails that, and until early March, it has been the case that I'm literally on a plane every week. So I leave on Sunday, I come back on a Thursday, I live in hotels, and I have crazy schedules. And what happened was, after Christmas, that within a few weeks, I felt absolutely knackered, totally exhausted. Which was hard, because it really impacts my health and my well-being, and I really want to make most out of my life and feel good and energetic. And actually, literally, the situation forces me to calm down. I have more time on my hands, so really focus on my well-being and my health, and reflect more on how I want to live my life. So from that perspective, it's really cool. The second piece is, as I said, I go back to do things that I haven't done for a long time. Picking up the guitar is one of them. Baking is another one. So stuff like this. I love how consciously I'm currently getting in touch with other people who are not my clients. So I'm teaching my niece and my nephew, they are twins, English at the moment over Zoom, 3 to 5 times a week. And they live in Germany, so I don't see that often. It connects us completely. It's beautiful. And I work on my business. I'm finally having the time and the focus to keep developing the services and products that I started, but then I lacked time to finish them. So that's quite lovely. And I volunteered as a coach for our health services so that people can get support to deal with all of their challenges that they have. So it turns out to be a beautifully busy schedule.
Oh, well, it certainly sounds that way, like a very different one, but a beautiful one, and one that you were in need of. So you are for sure making the absolute best out of this. And that's the way then that's the way to move forward and, keep a sane mindset, good outlook. Oh, well, you know what? I am bummed. I'm going to have to find another reason to talk again. I feel like if we live in the same place, we would be like, definitely become good girlfriends.
Slash drive each other crazy as well.
Well, that's always part of it, isn't it then?
Yeah, totally. That's the same with my best mates, honestly. When we are together for a kind of longer amount of time, we need to say to each other, okay, break, time out. But it's just so much fun and it's so energizing. So it would be brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely have to stay in touch. So thank you so much for joining me on the Life Storytelling Hour on Facebook. I loved everything that you say. Yeah. So, all right.